Thanks for checking out the channel. I'm going to do 2 giveaways on February 19th. It's going to be a 6-inch live target swim bait and a 10-inch live through trout pulse tail from Savage Gear. All you have to do is subscribe, like, comment down below, and I'll pin the winner's name in the comment section. Stay tuned. I'm going to break down Mather Lake so you can catch bass like these. Disclaimer, even with this information, you're not going to come out every day and whack a 5-pound plus bass. You still have to work for it. Some of you are going to catch fish on your first 10 casts. A lot of folks are going to skunk. Remember, it's fishing and not catching. If you find yourself in a slump, make sure you fish different conditions to better your odds of getting bit. Try to fish during the new moon, moonrise, moonset, pre-front condition, high water condition, sunrise, sunset, windy days, rainy days, and the trout stock. Let's get started by taking a look at the water depth of Mather Lake. It's actually not a lake, it's a 65-acre pond. Take a look at the arrow on the right hand side pointing north and south. It parallels the dam, and from the dam to the arrow there's a slow taper going 2 to 7 feet. Left of those arrows there's a steep tapering drop from 7 down to 13 feet. Within that zone there's an alleyway with weed lines on both sides running north to south. Below the left arrow, it's a shallow flat about 2 to 3 feet deep. Left of the down arrow, above the island, it's about 2 to 3 feet deep as well. The main body of Mather runs from 5 feet to 8 feet deep. There's only one location that you're going to get snagged. I'm going to mark it with the right arrow, right next to the dam. The other issue is there's a lot of grass, so you want to fish something weedless or suspended.
To fish.
If you're the first one on the water, go ahead and fish the outlet, because when the trouts are stocked, the cormorant and bass will push the school of trout into the shallow near the outflow. Majority of the time, they'll be at the mouth. Once in a while, they'll get pushed in front of where I'm standing. In fishing, we look for consistency, and this is it. No matter what trout stock it is, all these fish behave the same. There'll be a few school that breaks off into the main body of water, but majority of the fish will be here. And this is where all the magic happens, folks. If you come on the right day, all it takes is one cast. Let me explain to you what's going on when I'm swinging my rod from left to right. And we all know that bass prefers to ambush prey against a wall. And that's what I'm trying to imitate. When I sweep to the left, I'm pulling the swim bait to the shoreline. And on that right sweep, it's going to start paralleling that bank, making it seem like it's a trout that's trapped and has nowhere to go except for straight ahead. Majority of the time, this is when I get bit. That was a pretty weak hook set, so make sure you guys swing from the fences if you do get bit. So basically this is the program I'm running. After I'm done with the outflow, I'll walk up to the point and I'll make a cast towards 11, 12, or 1 o'clock. You want to test out the cadence to see how they want to eat for that particular day, and just pattern each bite you get. If it's reaction, you're going to have a good chance to land a 20-pound bag. I attempted to get some new footage of fish catches in 2021, but unfortunately the 4 bites I got, I didn't hook up. If you do get bit near shore, remember to set your hook to either sides, because if you set straight up and you miss, that swim is flying right out of the water towards you. Before moving on to your next spot, make sure you parallel the shoreline, treat it like a bluff wall, and get ready for some awesome blow-ups. It doesn't always happen, but it will. If you haven't hooked up yet, you want to change up your presentation. Instead of fishing uphill now, you're going to go from shallow out to deeper water. line up your cast from the dock and throw it towards the dam. There's time where I present my swimbait at a different angle and I get bit, so try that. Just give it a couple casts, move on. Always want to point at your lure because when you get bit, you want to get a full hook set. She's got bit right there. Let's see if she'll take it again. I'm fishing a Nate's bait, 9-inch line through a trout. There's a triple hook on the bottom, and I'm starting to feel that I'm getting hung up on grass, so I'm keeping my rod tip high in order to prevent any snags. There you go. Another bite. Swimbait fishing can be tough. It's part of the game. You know, you're not going to connect all the fish that bites, and you're not going to land all the fish that you hook. To recap, remember to change out your presentation angle. I'm going to include some previous footage of fish being caught this way. If you really want to get bit, you gotta throw your swim bait right into the dock. Just like that. It's been raining for 3 days straight, the water level is high, and the water is starting to turn into chocolate milk. On this day, I only had 20 minutes to fish, and was only looking for a reaction bite. It only took about 6 minutes before I got bit. Some of you may have already seen this footage in the past, but what you don't see is what I'm doing prior to the catch. Don't be scared to burn your HUD and wake on top of the water column. I experienced bass blowing up on my swimbait as early as mid-February. If you're not into swim baiting, it doesn't matter. This is their kitchen table. Just throw a bait that you're confident with. There's one more area you need to cover before moving on to another location, and that's between the first and second tree by the dam. It's going to be your last shot at getting a quick fish in the morning. pay attention to what I do before I get bit. Looks familiar? Guess what's gonna happen next? The next spot is located to my right behind the tree, and that's where I caught these two pigs. We already covered the shallow area, now we're going to cover the deeper part. From this position, you want to cast as far as possible, let it fall to the bottom. You're going to hit that alleyway that I talked about in the beginning of the video. So I'm using a 5-gear ratio. You're going to get at least 10 crank in before you hit the weed line. You want to hop it over about 7 or 8 cranks in and swim over the weed line. You don't want to run into it and spook everything off. Make sure you fish all the way back to you when there's no more water, and even then you want to pause your lure there for a few seconds before you pull out. You never know when you're going to get a follower to eat right at the bank. That's how I caught this one. I wish I would have had footage of the catch. It was a pretty epic bite. I retrieved my lure, left it a foot out in front of a submerged tree. She came out of nowhere and just engulfed the 8-inch head, and that was all she wrote. That beaver deserved an assist. When it swam by, it probably got the bass's attention, and when my swimbait came through the same area, she choked it. So now you know my hot spot I made there. I'm gonna end the video on this fish catch. If you want me to do a part 2 to cover the remaining parts of Mather, comment down below.